My name is Gina and I usually make films, but I'm also the creative director of a university research lab that researches games mostly. Um, and I often work on the borderlines of tech, and I was also one of the first people at KiBu, so I'm also an alumna. That is terrifying. I worked on things like Zooey or HeMesh or many other projects. Some of them helped me really to turn my career and my work into what it is today. So today, I'm going to talk about my own experiences being on the borders of tech, and in my talk, I'm going to talk about gender as a social construct that is really an attitude towards technology that limits access. So when I was growing up, I really wanted to study computers and stuff, but my parents said that's for boys. So they sent me to like music school, which is awesome, but I'm really bad at it still. So in my free time, I read walkthroughs of games like Duke Nukem because I couldn't play them. And then basically what I noticed throughout my research now, and looking back at my own childhood as well, is that studies show that girls around the ages of 11 to 15, they lose interest in science, technology, engineering, and math, and similar occupations that are often male-dominated. And although there's a funnel and people, some women just fight through, in my research I often find there are classes of engineers of 800 people where there are only 2 women. Here's a quote from a student who I interviewed at a university, where the teacher just didn't think that she was part of the class. And of course there are exceptions, and a study of Robert Jones shows that women have always been there at the dawn of new technology, but they're often excluded from the discourse surrounding it. So we all can name many men scientists and comic artists and filmmakers and so on, but we kind of struggle to name female ones, which means there are not a lot of role models. And also it's about looks. These things are designed to look appealing to boys often, and just because women, maybe when we're growing up we prefer pink things, doesn't mean we cannot operate the technology that is not pink. It just shows that technology has always been gendered very male. And the kind of access that, for example, the design of objects is tell us who these objects were designed for, deny access, and that access is power, and that power is what, the lack of that power is just shows how few women are at the very top. Through my interviews, I also met scientists at NASA, and one of them, Dr. Anita Sengupta, who is an amazing rocket scientist, said, I'm often the only woman on my team, and I'm fine with it because both my father and brother are engineers, but I can understand now how this environment scares women away very often. Many young women develop a relationship with technology that is anxiety-inducing, and they often find that this general sense of unease actually manifests in psychological tension that is surrounded by fear, a fear of failure especially. There's a lot of research that shows, including Margaret Moore's research, that shows that when women make mistakes in tech fields, they're often contributed, it's because they're women. And it's kind of hard to work with that. That's not something we can fix. Pro gamer Stephanie Harvey, who is among the best gamers in the world currently, she says, you cannot just be an engineer or a programmer or a gamer. You're always a woman engineer, a woman programmer, a female gamer. And this kind of language is something we cannot escape. So basically, the problem is to be excluded from discourse, culture being discouraged to join, and to be judged harsher. But there is a lot that we can do. Things like, being invited to be part of KiBu after learning music and art in school. But there are a lot of things that we can do ourselves now and tomorrow, today and tomorrow. one of the first things, obviously, everybody knows representation matters, and you need to get the bodies in the room, and you need to show that women are studying, and you have to make role models. Basically, you have to let these people shine. Next thing is which is very often forgotten and little talked about, is taking care of those bodies in the room. So you have to change the work environments. You have to listen to people, these new people who are coming into spaces, and you have to make sure that they're being taken care of. Third thing is teach. Is the next generation. You have to let girls experiment and try different things, and don't tell girls that she should think just because computers are for boys. That is not okay. So and it's also very unfair that girls can wear skirts and boys don't you think so? Skirts are very comfortable. Fourth thing, don't ever assume. We are all full of biases and assumptions, and we kind of consciously have to get rid of them or compensate for them. And I think it's only human, but we have the ability to think and to be able to be like, no, I have to listen to these people and not just assume what they think or what they want. And the fifth one is my favorite, is seek out content and games and scientists and stuff that is made by women, people of color, people who are different from you, and listen to their stories, because it's kind of fun to identify with people on a screen or in games that are different from you. Because if a theme for a game is acceptable to be murder, then so is shopping. So if you want to play a Barbie game, go ahead and play a Barbie game. Thank you very much. Follow my Instagram and my Twitter, and watch out for my film, Geek Girls, that is coming out next year. 6 minutes. Sikerült, és boldog szülinapot, KiBu! Köszönjük szépen!